Welcome, everyone, to the 1996 Key West World Championships coming to you from beautiful Key West, Florida. Hi, this is Mr. Pari on behalf of Jeff Girardi and the rest of the Pre-Spring Video Production crew. This is the big event. All the major racing associations are here. The Superboat International, APDA, and the U.S. Offshore Racing Association. This race is being run under Superboat rules. Today's race is the final race for the A, B, C, and S classes. It's a two-day event where each team participates in two races. The team with the highest combined total for both races is crowned your world champion in the respective class. Now, we already had great racing in the first morning race of the A, B, C, and S classes. The afternoon races consist of the Super, the Open, Modified, and the Pro Stock. We have more than 115 boats in all entered in these World Championships. The winners in the A, B, C, and S classes in the first race were, first off, Nemshov taking the checkered flag, followed by Pepsi, Zero Gravity, and Accurate Marine. In B class, it was La Grande Argentina coming in first place, followed by Joanna, Feel the Russian Obsession. In S class, Team Stalker with a checkered flag, followed by Team Bermuda, Texaco Haviland 3, Raceboat Water Sports in fourth place. And finally, in A class, Phase 2 on top, number 1, followed by Subluxator, Media Master, and Renegade. So those were your winners in the first race and the morning race in A, B, C, and S. And of course, after today, in the final race in these classes, we will know who the world champions are in these respective classes. Now, the winners in Wednesday afternoon's race in the Super, the Open, the Modified, and the Pro Stock were, first off, in a Superboat class, enough respect, Alcone Motorsport, Jaws and Sloppy Joes. In Superboat B, La Grande Argentina, Admiral Casino Tivoli, and Cigarette Lady. In Open class, Nomad came out on top, taking the checkered flag. Ohio Steel in second, followed by Heavy Metal, and Now Sweet It Is. In N class, CT Peppers number 1, followed by Team Pepsi, Priority, and Harry's Hofbrau. And finally, in Pro Stock, Kamikaze coming in first place, followed by Fit America, High Risk, and Ocean Outboard. And those are your winners in Wednesday afternoon's race in the Super, the Open, the Modified, and the Pro Stock. Once again, today's race will be the second and final race in the A, B, C, and S classes. Now, because of the extent of damage that many boats sustained in the races previous to now, because of the rough waters out there, many boats will not be running today. Now, some of the boats that are not in today's race include, first off, in C class, the Heat is on, and Smoking Gun. There you see the Heat is on, and as we look at this boat, you see that the bow has completely been torn apart. Once again, in C class, the Heat is on, and Smoking Gun not running. Important thing is that there were no injuries on the Heat is on, even though you can see the extent of damage there. In B class, Feel the Rush and Indigo out of the race. Joanna is also out of the race, but Joanna's number will be picked up by Great Lakes Castor. Joanna is not running in B class. Also not running Team DeLand Honda and Banker out of the race in B. In A class, Flashpoint, Bronze Phantom, and Performance Marine out of the race because they also sustained damage from the rough waters out here in Key West, Florida. As you can see, more damage of the Heat is on. But as we said, fortunately, no injuries involved. There is Joanna. Joanna will not be running because of damage, but its number will be taken by Great Lakes Castor. Joanna, though, did take a second place in B class in the first race. Joanna, B28. This World Championship race has been here in Key West for many, many years, and Pre-Spring Video has been proud to be a part of it. This is a great location here in Key West, once a sleepy port town, now a flourishing mecca for vacationers at the southernmost tip of the continental United States. The island of Key West continues its seafaring legacy as host of the Key West World Championship Offshore Powerboat race, and there we see Obsession going for a test run. Obsession took a fourth place in B class. That's a real shot at the World Championship. Once again, there's Obsession, Harry Turner's boat, Obsession, rigged and maintained by MRD Marine Research and Development from Long Island. Obsession, once again, took a fourth place in the first race. And there, of course, one of the beautiful cruise ships here in Key West. There is LoJack. LoJack took a checkered flag in B class, so B class is up for grabs today. It'll be tough going right down to the wire in B class. So in just a few moments, we will be airborne to bring you the second and final race of the smaller boats here in this 1996 Key West World Championships. Well, as you can see now, we are airborne at Mallory Square, overlooking Mallory Square. Many, many spectators waiting for the second and final race of the smaller boats, the A, B, C, and S. After today's race, we will know who the world champions are in those respective classes. As we overlook the milling area, we can say that the weather has turned, the front has moved in, and it's gotten very cold here in Key West with bumpy waters. And race officials have changed the course to a storm course, so this will be a shortened race here in Key West. First off, in stock and production A, they'll be going only 2 laps for 30 miles, and offshore C and B, 3 laps for 45 miles. As we see now, many of the boats beginning to line up for this beginning of the C and S start here in Key West. We've got about 40 boats entered in this race. About 15 or 20 will not be running because of damage sustained in the first race because of those bumpy waters, a lot of attrition. And we've got Havel in 3, Team Stalker, Team Bermuda, Nemshoff, and Conk-Attack as we see the lineup. And we've got the green flag now. This race has begun. These 1996 Key West World Championships, the A, B, C, and S class. Kamikaze going to the immediate lead with Team Pepsi on the outside. So your early leaders are Kamikaze, Pepsi, Nemshoff, and Conk-Attack as we have bumpy waters going out of Mallory Square. Baby Kamikaze, a 30-foot motion, off to a great start in the early moments of this race. As we look downfield, everyone off to a great start here in the second and final race of the A, B, C, and S classes. There's Team Pepsi also off to a great start, took a second place in Wednesday's race. Team Pepsi now looking upfield. There's Baby Kamikaze. There is Zero Gravity on the inside with Texaco, Havel, and Team Stalker, and Pepsi on the outside. In the early moments of this race, it's Zero Gravity, C9, a 31-foot express cat powered by 2 510-horsepower Intense Marine inboards with Roger Rex and Scott Mander aboard. Roger, the driver, throttle Scott Mander. Zero Gravity took a third place in Wednesday's race. They took a second place in the national point standings, APBA, in their class, and a first place in the prop series. The Zero Gravity, special thanks to Straight Line Painting, Custom Signs, Lavorsi Marine, Dollar Marine for the drives, Pass International, and the crew over at Intense Marine. Of course, Scott Mander, owner-operator of Intense Marine, home for all your high-performance needs, inboards as well as outboards. Intense Marine, right now it's C9, Zero Gravity, 31-foot Express Cat. On the outside, it's Pepsi and No Mercy. Pepsi and No Mercy on the outside. Zero Gravity, C9 on the inside. There's Pepsi on the outside going around. Zero Gravity. And looking to the leaders, it's Baby Kamikaze, First Scarab, and Nemshoff as we see Zero Gravity on the inside, and of course Pepsi on the far outside. Zero Gravity. There's Pepsi on the outside, Team Pepsi. Battle here in C-Class, Team Pepsi and Zero Gravity in the early moments of this 1996 Key West World Championship second race, A, B, C, and S. Team Pepsi pulling ahead on the outside, but it's Zero Gravity on the inside. Scott Mander and Roger Rex. Great little battle here in C-Class, a lot of flying going on. Team Pepsi there on the outside, Zero Gravity. Looking upfield, Baby Kamikaze, Nemshoff, and First Scarab. First Scarab is a 37-foot Wellcraft Scarab powered by 2 650-horsepower Teague inboards with Mercruiser drives. The driver John Streep, navigator Joe Black, and throttleman Nigel Hook. First Scarab C5. On the outside, Nemshoff. Well, we're looking at First Scarab right now. This first offshore racing team was started by Nigel Hook, John Streep, and Joe Black. The state-of-the-art Scarab 37H boat was created to bring a new evolutionary design to the powerboat industry. The features of this race boat are ultimate speed, efficiency, and safety. Fort Scarab Racing Team and its newly designed boat are considered Wellcraft Ultimate Scarab prototype. In this configuration, First Scarab should be running in B class next year, the 1997 racing season. There on the outside, Nemshoff, a great battle here going on between First Scarab and Nemshoff on the outside. Sponsors for First Scarab include First Group, Wellcraft, Arch and Marine. Special thanks to Urban Stice from Para Sportscom, also Bob Teague for the power plants. First Scarab C5 running excellent all the way on Wednesday's race, but had a problem at the very end. Really wasn't about second place, but then the problem put it further behind. But right now running excellent First Scarab in a battle with Nemshoff on the outside. First Scarab powered by Teague inboards, a pair of 650 horsepower. Nice throttling there, Nigel Hook from Del Mar, California. There's Nemshoff on the outside. They're battling here in the early moments of the second and final race for these classes. Nemshoff took a first place in Wednesday's race, coming in first place in C-Class. Of course, Nemshoff in an excellent position to get the World Championship, but right now it's a battle with First Scarab. Leaving First Scarab, now let's go to Nemshoff C41, your winner in Wednesday's race in C-Class. Nemshoff, a 40-foot Fabio Buzzi design. As we approach Nemshoff. Nemshoff is powered by two 1,000 horsepower C-Tech diesel inboards with Tri-Max drives. Getting a little closer now, Nemshoff. The driver is Paul Nemshoff. He's from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Throttleman is Mark Nemshoff. And Douglas Hahn is the alternate driver and crew chief. This boat has been prepared by Mr. Richard Jones. C41, Nemshoff in a battle with First Scarab. And there is First Scarab on the inside, as you can see now, with a slight lead. 37-foot Wellcraft against a 40-foot Fabio Buzzi design. There is Nemshoff, C41. Great battle going on here in the early moments between these two sea boats. Nemshoff and First Scarab. Nemshoff and First Scarab first and second overall right now in this race. Got a great start now as we go around the turn. Once again, we should say this is a storm course. It has been shortened because of the change in the weather. And as you can see, it's pretty bumpy out there in the open water here off of Key West. Nemshoff there on the outside, First Scarab on the inside. Paul Nemshoff and Mark Nemshoff aboard this 40-foot FB design. Once again, we should say this is a storm-shortened course. Normally, they go out of Mallory Square about 3 miles out into the open water, but these boats now are basically going along the beach, so it's a shortened course, and as you can see, the waters are a little bit calmer here. The weather has turned, so they're only running maybe 2 or 3 laps, depending on what class. First Scarab on the inside, Nemshoff on the outside, as we see some of that beach in the background. Battle here between First Scarab and Nemshoff in C-Class. About racing here between these two boats. Looking downfield, zero gravity. Zero gravity in C. There's Team Pepsi coming up now. Team Pepsi C112, a 29-foot Formula 3, powered by one 900-horsepower HBR competition engine with a Merc Cruiser drive, and there they are. Team Pepsi, it's Barry Podmore, Hugo Delmas, and Joe Sabini. It's an all-Trinidad team. C112, Team Pepsi took a second place on Wednesday, so has a real good shot here at a World Championship in C-Class. Many thanks to Bobby Moore of Custom Marine in Miami and his service manager, Troy Hannon, who played a major role in preparing this boat for the World Championships, and the crew of Team Pepsi, Joey and Larry. who now race in modified class in the Mountain Dew and Taco Bell boat. And this boat was manufactured in Trinidad and Tobago by Formula 3. It's the only 29-footer and single-engine boat to race in C-class with a 598 cubic inch engine with just over 1,000 horsepower. Team Pepsi. Sponsors include Pepsi, Citibank, and Mobile One. Joey Sabini, Barry Podmore, and Hugo Delmas aboard. Barry the driver, Hugo the navigator, and Joey the throttle man. Joe is also the owner of this 29-foot Formula 3. There's zero gravity as we look upfield. Back to Team Pepsi, seeing many spectators along Truman Annex there as we go down the cut to Mallory Square. Team Pepsi, Joe Sabini, Barry Podmore, and Hugo Delmas. We're certainly glad to see this all-Trinidad crew competing in the World Championships here in Key West, and Freeze Frame Video Productions has certainly enjoyed covering these guys during the season. Uh-oh, they've got a problem. Something making a lot of noise there in that engine. Well, we hope that they can get back into the race, but apparently right now Team Pepsi having a problem with their engine. C112, Team Pepsi.